Great morning, great morning, great morning. I am Nicole D. Jones, and I'm just happy and grateful for another day. I'm happy and grateful for life. I don't take life for granted. I don't take days for granted. I'm happy and I'm grateful for you. I don't take that for granted either. Thank you, thank you, thank you for your willingness to come and meet me on Monday mornings to hold me accountable. Um, for some of you all who were on the call, I'm doing something different today. I actually can see who's on the call. You can actually unmute yourself and respond if you would like to today. It is the first Monday in June. So we already are 6 months in to 2022. Okay. Time is not waiting for any of us. And I don't know, this morning I just felt a little different. I will be honest with you guys. When I started doing this, I purposely, and I've said it before, I've purposely would have it where I couldn't see how many people were on. I couldn't see what was being said. And I did it for two reasons. It was almost like a bittersweet. I was afraid. There was fear. So if there was only one person on there, then I may be intimidated, or I may be like, oh, nobody wants to hear me. Then if there was 100 people, I may be intimidated and like, oh, I don't know what to say. Everybody wants to hear me. So I did that for me. I did that just because I felt like I wasn't worthy, or I had nothing to say. But you can't be the best version of you unapologetically through a posture of submission and humility if you're not willing to face the things that will stop you from being the best version of you. So I'm like, okay, I've been saying it. I've been saying I'm going to expand. I'm going to do these different things. So everything is a process. It's never what we go through. It's how we get through it. So this is my first step in my process, because I cannot fear. If I believe that what I'm sharing is from Jehovah God, if I believe what I'm sharing is truth, if I believe that what I'm sharing will help and bring someone freedom, then how can I be afraid? Okay. And that's just kind of, I don't know, it just kind of happened like that. I was sitting here waiting, and that's how I felt. So this is what we're doing on our Meal Prep Monday. But again, thank you, thank you, thank you for your willingness to always come and meet me here. And, I sound like a broken record in this season, this new normal. For those of you all who were on the call last week, I made it back to Georgia. As I stated that, I prepared for the grave. I didn't prepare for the ride, but I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful, so grateful. And I had to remember that in this season, I asked Jehovah God to allow me to feel everything, and he has. And I just want to encourage you on a Meal Prep Monday, just continue to learn how to dance through the storms. Continue to just be intentional on being the best version of you unapologetically. And it's so freeing. And I'm understanding that being the best version of me, it doesn't mean that every day is going to be a feel good day. But one thing I know that I know, every day is great, because just someone doesn't have today. And I think that while we go through this, bring us for the final destiny, if we could shift our perspective that way, we would appreciate one another more. We wouldn't stay mad at each other long. We wouldn't do those things. We would understand that this journey is about memories, good, bad, or indifferent. Okay. But anything that is bad, you can turn around for good. And the good always outweighs the bad. Your glass is always half full, never half empty. And when we were there, I told you guys last week, it was going to be me and my uncles going to make sure that everything was together for my dad. They purposely waited for me to make it to San Antonio. Grateful for that. Jaden, I told that whole husband of mine, we deal with grief differently. And with Jaden, like with me and James, he's on one side, I'm on another, just because our paths have been so different with having to face it. But I'm grateful that we're getting to a place where, well, I believe that, because he had to face it more than me. So I always tried to respect his view, but I couldn't understand it because I had not dealt with losing someone close. But now that I've lost someone very close, I'm seeing the respect to kind of hear each other. And I believe it's healing for us both, because we can kind of give each other a different, I don't want to say perspective, but maybe a way to kind of deal with things. So with Jaden, we decided we would let him find his way in dealing with his grieving process, and he wanted to go. So y'all know this is new for me. When I got there, very full of emotions, but it was just something I wasn't expecting. But in the end, it was good. But my uncle, I have a baby uncle, my Uncle Plu, the one I yelled at. I didn't yell at him this time, y'all, but I did have to hang up the phone. But I said goodbye. But we're just different. Everyone grieves differently. But I share all this because I'm saying, they were en route. He said something I didn't like, and I was just like, goodbye, I hung up the phone. But when he got to the grave, I was going to go to the car. Not really because of him, but just because it was a lot. I was just ready to go. But of course, there were some things he wanted to do. I was going to respect that. But before we left the grave, there were the apologies. There were these different things. And I just share that because we got to learn to give each other grace, because we never know what someone's going through. And this is why I say it's never what we go through, but how we get through it. Okay. This Meal Prep Monday. So I'm just trying to give you something to think about, even as you go through your headbutting, and you might be the one wrong. That day I was the one wrong in the sense of, I was emotional. We were all emotional, but in that moment, I did not give grace for how he deals with grieving. I didn't give grace to him on how he may feel. I didn't do all of that, but I was able to recognize it. I'm so grateful that I'm in this space right now where I'm just trying to keep my eyes on me. I'm trying to be the best version of me. I'm trying to understand the power and the authority that I possess, okay? Not to be a manipulator or a controller, but to really understand that we have power and authority in us when we go back to our original DNA, all right? How we activate that is by keeping our eyes on ourselves. So I had to check myself. And when we were leaving, he told me, I'm sorry if I upset you. I love you. And I told him, it wasn't you, it was me. I love you. Like, it was me. This is very new for me. Okay. This is my first rodeo in this arena. So, I'm like, it wasn't you, it was me. And we were able to go, y'all know, look, I had to bring, we was able to go to Luby's, y'all. We was able to go to Luby's. Y'all know this is like the highlight of my trip to San Antonio. I love my family, but if I could go to Luby's, baby. Well, we've got to go to Luby's afterwards. We sat in there till they closed. And after they closed, we was in the parking lot talking, and it was just a beautiful thing. I will be honest, I literally packed my stuff up that night. I had enough. I was ready to go. The emotional spin was enough for me, and me and Jada got on the road the next day. But I just want to encourage you on Meal Prep Monday, as we are in a space where we're learning to be the best version of us, and things don't go your way, or things begin to frustrate you, be intentional not to stay there. Be intentional not to stay there. And it's not even for the person, it's for you. If I would have chose to stay upset, and he literally, compared to what he usually do, he did nothing. They were late and I was waiting. So I'm at the grave just waiting. And there was like 20 minutes late. So I called and I was just like, hey, are you close? And I was talking to my Uncle Dickie, but he must have had me on speaker. So my Uncle Pooh was like, he started barking. And I'm just like, really? Really? Like right now? Seriously? Then I was like, bye, y'all. Click, So it was just like, are you serious? But like I said, if I would have chosen to stay in a place of offense, because I felt offended, I felt like he wasn't caring about my feelings and what was going on and where I was sitting, waiting for him. Like it was all of this, but that's not what it was. I mean, it's his big brother. Like this, he's going through too. None of us wanted to be in this space, So I say all that for me. I didn't want to leave where I can never be with dad again and then leave and never get to talk to him again. Life is too short. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. So Meal Prep Monday. Why am I saying all this? When folks start bothering you, when you're frustrated, irritated, something that you wanted to happen isn't happening the way that you want it, you've got to stop. You got to take a pause for yourself. And remember, nothing happens by chance in a day to Jehovah God, just to us. Our footsteps are predestined and pre-ordered. So maybe we just got to be still and realize, okay, am I in the right footstep? Am I in the right space? Am I feeling like this because I need to pause? I need to go left instead of right. Am I in this space because I need to speak life instead of death? What is it? Love yourself enough to do it for you, okay? Because once we get to a place of really being intentional of tapping into our original DNA, we're going to understand that we are loved and we are loved. We are the light. We are the head. We are victorious. Everything works together for our good. Even when it doesn't feel good, it's for our good. But we have to make sure we're in the right space, in the right place. Everything has an appointed time. Yourself first. Like, okay, am I missing something? Is it me or is it them? Is it me or is it this situation? Is it me or is it this debt? But we forget that we're the one who created it. I'm just saying. But it helps put things in perspective. Okay? Because I tell y'all, we got to get that part right, because I promise you that thing will come back on the same day every month. It'll give you a second chance to figure out how you want to look at it. All right? But mindset, shifting your perspective. I opened the call this week because I wanted to, like I said, we're in the 6th month. We're halfway through 2022. And I do a lot of repetitive, give anyone an opportunity to maybe ask me something or even share maybe how something well, I'm not going to say something, how learning to be the best version of you unapologetically, how it has helped you, or if you have a question or anything. I wanted to open it up today where you guys can talk to me, or someone may have something that they want to share with me. I'm looking for my phone, y'all. Try to see what time it is. Oh, yes, 10:19. So if you want to, you can unmute your line. I can't look at the chat, though. But you can unmute yourself.
So, Nicole, you want us to share. Can you repeat what you want us to share?
You can share whatever is on your heart. because normally I can't see who's on the call. I can't see if anyone's saying anything. If it's anything you want to ask me, if it's any way that, or anything you want to share to encourage where in this season, you being the best version of you, or being intentional to be the best version of you, how it has helped, or
Okay, I'll share. Can you hear me okay? Can you hear me?
yes, ma'am.
Okay. Um,
Yes.
so I would say that your words are encouraging on being yourself unapologetically and accepting who you are. I think it's huge to have self-love because it just helps you to show up to be a better person when you're in a relationship with anyone, whether it's with your significant other, your family, your friends. You're being your authentic self, you're loving yourself, and it helps you to
Mm-hmm.
be better in that space. And the part that you were talking about forgiveness and,
Mm-hmm.
kind of checking your heart first to see if maybe there's something that you should reflect on yourself first. Um, it was interesting that you brought that up because one of my takeaways from my trip, I mean, you know that I've been in Greece, and there was a
Mm-hmm.
situation that had happened with some service that we had gotten while we were there. And the driver, he came back and he had shared with us that in their culture that they believe in hospitality, not just for people who are visiting their country or people that they're, serving like customers or whatever, but that's what they're taught about hospitality. And he said he had to come back, look at me in my eyes, and apologize because they are taught that a true apology, you look that person in the eyes and you let them see that you are sincere in what you're saying, and that you're basically wanting to, get that forgiveness so that you can leave it and move forward. And that just
Mm-hmm.
stuck with me because I think culturally we need to do that more often, with our friends, with our family. If we know we have offended, we need to come with a heart, really asking for that grace and so that you can move forward. Because if you don't acknowledge that, then that person can still be feeling offended, and that's not going to help the relationship to go forward. And so that was one of the most sincerest apologies that I've ever gotten from someone. And he said they are taught to look in the person's eyes and let them know that they are sorry. And I just thought that was really good. And it kind of ties into what you were saying today.
Thank you for sharing that. That is awesome. That is so good. I mean, because our eyes, what is it? Our eyes are the gateway to our soul. I do believe that eye contact and these different things, because you can see sincerity. And I also feel like that is like great. I encourage you to implement that even as you're in this season, because I know I'll be intentional to do so. I mean, we have all this technology, we have FaceTime, we have all these things, we have technology that we'll use to feed our flesh. Let's use it to feed each other. Because when we can't forgive, or when we move on and we leave people in that place, think about it. Like Rhonda just said, it's almost like if you leave a foundation lumpy and you're trying to now move on and build on it, it's never going to be at its best, because you never smooth out what you need to foundationally. So now you're trying to, because you know how we'll try to move on and just continue to build, and you can't do that. You can't do that. Anyone else? Anything.
I
It
did
doesn't
want to
have to.
share.
Sure. Hey,
Okay, thank
Jacinta.
you. Hey, good morning, Miss Nicole. Good morning, everyone. I'm just grateful for these calls. It's like I've told you before, it's like therapy. You give me a lot of things to think about. And so usually during the week, I'm processing, what you said. one thing that I've found out that I have an issue with is being unapologetically me. And so I feel like sometimes I'm like, where's the line between the getting off into my emotions and being unapologetically me? Like I'm like, I don't want to be emotional, but I want to be authentic. And so that's where I'm challenged. That's where I'm challenged, but I'm working on it with my therapist and you.
But you know what? As long as you're working on it, that's the thing. And I think, we have to be willing to, I do this and I say this because I think we have to be willing to be patient with ourselves. We have to give ourselves that time. Like we want things so quickly. And that's why I think I kind of emphasize, like, it's never what you go through, but it's how you get through it. And I believe as long as you continue to take steps forward, even when you regress, or if you walk 4 steps ahead, if you fall back 2, you're still ahead of where you were before. And that's what this journey is. Like, we want to rush so many things, but then we want long life. So if we want long life, why are we rushing certain things? And I think that we have to be patient with ourselves. Like, I don't know about y'all, but I'm like a whole hot mess, of a whole mess that I'm trying to work through. Like, and then it may be more than one pile. So as long as I'm chiseling it off, I'm trying to take the analogy. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. But as long as I'm continuing to be consistent and persistent in being the best version of me unapologetically, as long as I'm intentional to try to stay submitted to Jehovah God, to stay submitted and humble to hear what I believe is the Holy Spirit that speaks to me, that is our call. That is what we're to do, because we're not looking for purpose. We are purpose. So we're just tailor making it. We're fulfilling it every day. And if we want long life, we don't want the purpose to be over. So in some areas, we have to learn how to be patient with ourselves, not lazy, not lax, not unwilling to see ourselves, but intentional to be consistent and persistent in having that posture. So I appreciate you all. I know it's 10:27. And like I said, I just wanted to kind of open it up because I feel like we come on here to gain strength one from another. And I need that too. I need to hear also. So I have to do what I've been saying I was going to do since January and expand this as far as platforms and how I do it, because I'm just trying to give what I believe is laid on my heart and be as transparent as I could be, hoping that it will help someone. And even as we're walking together, we're able to help one another because we gain strength one from another. So Meal Prep Monday, I encourage you, and I hope that you're encouraged to walk in forgiveness. I believe by faith that you are intentional to continue to keep your eye on you, to continue to be submitted to your process, to continue to walk out humility, to continue to know that you're the head and never the tail, to continue to know that things don't control and rule you, that you have dominion over all things. We just have to make sure that we keep it in the right perspective. We're good stewards over the things that have been given to us, and that we're willing to stay in the footsteps that are predestined and pre-ordered for us every day. And when things are off balance, when things are out of line, that we're willing to look at ourselves first, because it may be that we're in the wrong space. And if it is, y'all be like my hero Forrest. It is okay to run. All right. When you know you're not in the right space, look, that don't make you weak. It actually makes you very strong. Okay. But be the solution to everything that happens in your day, and be willing to give yourself the grace to go through your process to continue to run your race strongly. Okay. So remember to stay humble, to stay focused, to stay positive, to continue to just be the best version of you unapologetically, because you're the only one who can do it. All right. So I am Nicole D. Jones, and I want you to stay healthy, to stay wealthy, to stay prosperous, and continue to have a fantabulous rest of the day. Smooches.